On a crisp autumn morning in October 2027, Daniel Carter stood in his Chicago apartment, adjusting the intricate patterns of his Yoruba agbada, a traditional Nigerian garment woven with vibrant threads of indigo, gold, and crimson. Each swirl and geometric design told a story of resilience, wisdom, and unity values that had guided Daniel, a 45-year-old aerospace engineer, through a career marked by relentless ambition and quiet battles against prejudice. Today was no ordinary day. Daniel was headed to Dallas for a pivotal presentation at Horizon Airlines headquarters, where he would pitch his groundbreaking Safe Flight system, a $400 million innovation that could redefine aviation safety. His wife, Aisha, watched him with a mix of pride and concern. "You sure about wearing the agbada?" she asked, her voice soft but laced with worry. "Those airline execs can be rigid." Daniel's lips curved into a determined smile. "If they're going to judge me, let it be for who I am, not who they expect me to be." Growing up in Detroit's West Side, Daniel had learned early that the world didn't always welcome dreamers like him. His mother, Gloria, a single parent who juggled two jobs, bus driver by day, hotel housekeeper by night, had drilled into him that excellence was his only defense against doubt. "Numbers don't see color," she'd say, helping him with algebra under the dim glow of their kitchen lamp. But not everyone saw it that way. In high school, a guidance counselor had smirked when Daniel shared his dream of becoming an engineer. "Stick to something practical, kid," she'd said. Those words lit a fire in him, turning every degree, his bachelor's from Stanford, his PhD from Caltech, and every patent into a defiant rebuttal to those who doubted him. Now, at O'Hare International Airport, that familiar skepticism greeted him again. The TSA agent squinted at his first-class boarding pass, then at his agbada. "This yours?" he asked, his tone dripping with disbelief. Daniel nodded, his voice calm but firm. "Yes, sir." At the gate, the attendant's eyes widened. "First class? You sure you're at the right gate?" Daniel exhaled slowly. "Seat 3B, Chicago to Dallas." The attendant flushed, mumbling an apology as she scanned his pass. These microaggressions were nothing new, but today they stung deeper, perhaps because of the weight of the moment or the pride he felt in his heritage, boldly displayed in the folds of his attire. Aboard Horizon Airlines Flight 927, the atmosphere shifted as Daniel stepped into the first-class cabin. The hum of recycled air couldn't mask the sudden silence from two flight attendants, Sarah and Ethan, who exchanged glances as they took in his vibrant outfit. Sarah's lips twitched into a barely concealed smirk. "Good morning," Daniel said, his tone professional. Sarah's response was curt, her eyes lingering on his agbada. "Boarding pass, please." She studied it longer than necessary before pointing to his seat. 3BS that way. As Daniel settled in, he noticed Sarah offering warm towels and drinks to other passengers with a smile she hadn't spared him. From the corner of his eye, he caught her whispering to Ethan, who stifled a laugh. A third attendant, Liam, joined them, his voice low but audible. "What's with the festival getup? Did he miss the memo on business attire?" Their laughter was soft but sharp, slicing through Daniel's focus. He tried to bury himself in his presentation notes, but the slights kept piling up. Sarah ignored his raised hand for service while promptly tending to a white businessman in 3A. When she finally approached, her tone was clipped. "We'll serve drinks after takeoff." Daniel nodded, though he'd seen her pour orange juice for others. A young black girl, maybe 12, passed by with her father, her eyes lighting up at Daniel's agbada. He smiled at her, her shy grin a fleeting moment of warmth in an otherwise chilly cabin. That connection reminded him why he couldn't stay silent, not just for himself, but for her, for every kid who needed to see someone like them treated with respect. As the plane climbed to cruising altitude, the service disparities grew blatant. Sarah offered snacks and drinks to everyone but Daniel. When he politely requested a sparkling water, Ethan handed it over with a smirk, only to accidentally spill it across Daniel's agbada and briefcase. "Oops," Ethan said, his tone mocking. "Good thing it's so colorful won't show the stain." The words hit like a slap, and Daniel's patience snapped. His documents, meticulously prepared for the biggest pitch of his career, were now damp and smudged. "I need more napkins," he said, his voice steady but laced with steel. "And I'd like to speak to the lead flight attendant." Liam appeared, offering a thin stack of napkins with a dismissive shrug. Accidents happen. No need to make a scene. But Daniel wasn't backing down. Memories flooded back. The professor who'd assumed his thesis was plagiarized, the colleague who'd mistaken him for a janitor. He'd swallowed those indignities to keep his eyes on the prize, but today was different. That young girl's face lingered in his mind, a reminder that silence was complicity. "I want your names and employee numbers," he said, pulling out his phone. Sarah's smile vanished. "Sir, if you're disruptive, we'll notify the captain." Daniel's eyes narrowed. "Disruptive? I've been mocked for my cultural attire, ignored, and now my work is damaged. That's not disruption, that's discrimination." The cabin fell silent, passengers turning to watch. A Latina woman in 4C spoke up. "I saw it all. They've been treating him differently since he boarded." Daniel nodded his thanks, but stayed focused. "This costume you mocked is Yoruba formal wear. I'm wearing it for a meeting with your executives to pitch a $400 million safety system." Sarah's face paled. Ethan lowered the intercom he'd reached for. Daniel pulled out his company ID and a letter on Horizon Airlines letterhead. "I'm Daniel Carter, creator of Safe Flight. Your CEO, Marcus, is expecting me." The revelation hit like a shockwave. Passengers began recording, their phones capturing the escalating drama. Daniel dialed a number on his phone. "Marcus, it's Daniel," he said, his voice calm but commanding. "I'm on your flight, and we've got a problem." The attendants froze as he recounted the incident to Marcus Reed, Horizon's CEO and his former Stanford classmate. "I've been mocked, ignored, and had my materials damaged," Daniel said, switching to speaker mode. Marcus's voice boomed through the cabin. "This is Marcus Reed, CEO of Horizon Airlines. This behavior is unacceptable. Daniel Carter is not just a passenger's a partner whose technology could save lives. I expect him to receive exemplary service for the rest of this flight." The power dynamic flipped. Sarah stammered an apology, Ethan retreated, and Liam vanished into the galley. Passengers clapped, the Latina woman giving Daniel a nod of solidarity. The lead attendant, Olivia, approached with genuine remorse. "Mr. Carter, I failed to oversee my team properly. I'm horrified, especially as someone with a mixed-race nephew who might face this one day." Daniel saw sincerity in her eyes. "I don't want firings," he said. "I want change training that teaches respect for every passenger, no matter how they look." Olivia nodded, promising to advocate for it. The young black girl, whose name Daniel learned was Kimmy, approached shyly. "Your outfit's amazing," she said. "I want to be an engineer too." Daniel's heart lifted. "Keep that dream, Kimmy. The world needs you." In Dallas, Daniel strode into Horizon's headquarters, his damp agbada a badge of defiance. Marcus greeted him warmly, apologizing again for the flight. "We're investigating, and we'll make this right." In the boardroom, Daniel faced a sea of suits, their eyes drawn to his attire. Marcus introduced him as the brilliant mind behind Safe Flight and my old friend, preempting any judgment. Daniel seized the moment, weaving the morning's incident into his pitch. Safe Flight doesn't just catch mechanical issues, it sees patterns humans miss, like biases that compromise safety. His presentation was electrifying, blending technical precision with cultural insight. The executives, initially skeptical, were won over, erupting into applause as he concluded with Safe Flight's potential to cut incident risks by 70%. Marcus announced the contract's approval and proposed a new initiative. Daniel would help design a cultural training program to address biases like those he'd faced. "You're not just an engineer," Marcus said. "You see systems technical and human." Daniel agreed, stipulating the inclusion of diversity experts. As he boarded his return flight, he chose a commercial plane over Marcus's private jet offer. "I want to see if the change is real," he said. 6 months later, in April 2028, Daniel boarded the same flight. The cabin buzzed with warmth, not judgment. Michael, a new attendant, greeted him with respect, and passengers admired his new agbada. Olivia, now a trainer for Horizon's revamped cultural program, thanked him for sparking change. Kimmy, now in a STEM program funded by Horizon, ran up, beaming. "I'm going to wear Yoruba cloth when I'm an engineer," she declared. The captain's voice crackled over the intercom, honoring Daniel's contributions to safety and inclusion. As applause filled the cabin, Daniel reflected on the ripples of his stand ripples that had transformed an airline and inspired a generation. What would you do if you were Daniel? Stay silent to avoid conflict, or speak up, knowing it could cost you? Can cultural pride ever coexist with corporate expectations, or are we forced to conform? Should companies prioritize punishment or education when addressing bias? Share your thoughts, like if this story moved you, and subscribe for more tales of courage and change.